Hello there, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 3. Uh, man, I've been really hyped. So last Friday, we got to watch both Episode 1 and 2. I've seen both of those twice, and I really, really enjoyed it. This first part will be non-spoilers, so feel free to stick around. Um, Overall, this third episode, I was really hyped, and I think that might have been part of the reasons that I had a little bit of issues with it. It's not, I feel like it's just not as good as the previous two. There's a lot of really cool stuff. This one just felt a little clunky as far as like the storyline that we're trying to get. And I think part of that is just, it's really part of it is just my own stuff that in my mind, I'm trying to reconcile. We have all this other canon, right? We know what happens in episode 4, what happens in other series like Rebels and stuff like that. So as I'm watching everything that's happening, my mind's trying to reconcile like, okay, how are we gonna get from here to there? Where I'm trying to do all this extra work that I don't really need to. But also there's stuff that it just feels like there's some moments that are built for tension that lose a little bit of tension because we know in the end, like, overall, we know where these characters end up. I think that's the biggest challenge when you do some kind of prequel stuff. All that being said, I really still enjoyed the episode, even with a little bit of the issues. Like I said, it's not as I don't think it's as good as episode 1 and 2, but I like the new setting. I like the place that we get to after this, and I think the show still just being carried by Ian McGregor's performance. He is so tormented and twisted, and you can see a lot of that hesitation from him still. Just there's a lot of feeling that Ian McGregor really, really brings through on the screen. So I think he's great. Also, I want to commend two people in this episode. Moses Ingram continues to be just super intimidating as like all the machinations that she's going through. And there's some stuff that happens with the Inquisitors that I'll talk more in the spoiler part. But also Song Kang. I think Song Kang is a really good foil for Riva. I think that, or at least their antagonistic relationship towards each other, even though they're both on the same side, I really, really like. So Song Kang plays the fifth brother, uh, which is, I mean, just seeing the Inquisitors on screen is really cool, anyways. But like, just seeing them, like, they they're not a team, right? The Inquisitors are not a team. They're all serving with their end goal to just be at the top or serving right under Vader and under Palpatine, right? Their ambition is what drives them, and that's kind of the difference between a lot of the stuff that we see from the Inquisitors versus a group like the Jedi. Um, like I said, there's some really cool stuff here. We get introduced to a few cool droids, new characters. We're in this new planet now after the events of the last episode. So yeah, this was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. It gets really dark towards the end, like, and I'm talking about both lighting wise, and then also just the themes and stuff. There's big confrontation, and yeah, it was great. We do also get introduced to a character named Tala, who we've seen in the previews, played by Indira Varma, who I also really liked. I think I was not expecting this character to have this impact on the show, or at least not the way we were where I thought we were going. But also she was really great. So yeah, overall, like I said, not as good as the first two episodes, and maybe that's just a little bit of also impact that we were so hyped for the series. Also, Star Wars on a Wednesday feels kind of weird. Wednesday feels like it's a Marvel day, and Star Wars used to come out on Fridays. Anyways, I'm not gonna complain about getting it earlier. So, yeah, overall, I mean, we're halfway through the series already, and it just started, which is insane. So I look forward to seeing more and what happens in the next episode because everything that we've set up here seems really interesting. And like I said, my brain's still doing a lot of like gymnastics to like how do we get from here to where we know we end up in other Star Wars stuff. So I look forward to more Easter eggs and stuff. I want to see some breakdowns. I did catch a few things, which I'll talk about in spoilers in a minute. So stick around if you don't hear that. If you are leaving because of spoilers, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, share, like, comment on the video and stuff like that. And here is your spoiler warning. So spoilers for episode 3 and pretty much all the episodes really of Obi-Wan Kenobi so far. So okay, so we leave. We go to a new planet named Mapuso after the events of the second episode. Leia and Obi-Wan just get to the new place. They're supposed to rendezvous with somebody that's going to help them, but that doesn't happen immediately. So they have to catch a ride from this guy named, I believe, it's a creature named Freck, that kind of works for the Empire. But it's really interesting because overall, like, this dude doesn't seem like a bad person overall. Like, he's just kind of doing his work, and unfortunately now he has to work for the Empire. So it puts you at a little bit of, like, these people are being oppressed, and they're kind of just they're just trying to make a living and live by under the rule of the Empire. But they're still like they're still trying to harm our heroes. um, Once again, I really thought that little Leia, played by Vivian Lyra Blair, has a really good rapport with Obi-Wan. It's really funny because in the episode she's so street smart when compared to Obi-Wan, who's been in isolation. You can really tell, and it even relates me back to like some of the things from the prequels where Obi-Wan's like when they get trapped in the rays by the I think it's in episode 3 where it's Anakin, and the Chancellor. They get trapped by these rays, right? And Obi-Wan goes like, "How did we fall for this? We're smarter than that." And I don't think that the Jedi are as smart as they think. At least not the streetwise type of smart that you need to survive in the underground or hiding, right? And I think that's been part of what's happening there. So I thought that was really funny. Um, and yeah, so Leia and Obi-Wan have really, really good rapport. And ultimately, I think this is building on all the foundation. I do think eventually Leia will know that Ben is actually Obi-Wan, and that's why she trusted him so much in episode 4. But I know there's speculation out there that maybe she only knows him as this guy named Ben or whatever. So we'll see. I don't know if that'll be the case. Now let's move on to the other side of the story. So we have the Inquisitors. They do find Obi-Wan because, of course, they have to. They're on an Empire-occupied planet, which makes it really easy for any things to go wrong very quickly. Uh, I guess I'll address the thing that is on everyone's mind after the last episode. Uh, I think the Grand Inquisitor is dead. Like, he really is dead. Even though we know he is supposed to be in Rebels, which happens after this, it's so weird. Maybe they'll write it up like, I don't know, clones. He got healed somehow, whatever. But Reva has a direct line to Vader, which is super cool. Really good to see Hayden Christensen, but also to hear, James Earl Jones come back to voice. I believe it's James Earl Jones. I haven't even checked the credits, but the definitely sounds the same. Like Vader sounds the same, and he looks super cool. It's really nice to see him. I feel like by the time we saw the original films, um, his armor had gone through a lot, as far as like, just all the stuff that Vader's been doing from episode 3 to episode 4. So yeah, it's really cool to see him, like all those sequences of him being kind of put together. It's always fascinating, really cool visuals. And Hayden Christensen, like, we don't see his face a lot. We see it in 2 shots. We see one with makeup to be the deformed Vader under the helmet, but just with his eyes, you can just really tell there's a lot going on there. And then we also see Obi-Wan kind of hallucinate Anakin before their fight. Really interesting. So it's really cool to see him back on the screen. And yeah, they find him, and I didn't expect Obi and Vader to meet so soon. But in this episode, we get it. We get a full fight, and you can just tell that Obi-Wan has lost touch with everything that, at least at this point, he feels like he's lost touch with everything that made him a great Jedi and a warrior. As far as just fighting and skills, in the prequels, Anakin describes him as wise as Yoda and as good a fighter as Mace Windu, which both of them were the peak, right? So it's really interesting to see Ewan McGregor do this performance where he is not the peak of the Jedi because he's been away for so long, away from the Force even. Um, and he's still trying to reach out to Master Qui-Gon, which I hopefully will get at some point a little cameo, voice cameo or something. Not just because it'd be cool to hear Qui-Gon, he is one of my favorite characters, but I think because Obi-Wan the character really needs it. Like I think it'll be something that will kind of like it'll be his salvation or that pivot point where he finally embraces like what really it'll put him on the path to the Obi-Wan that we met in episode 4, I feel, because right now Obi-Wan is not doing very well. Um, and yeah, he gets pretty much destroyed if it wasn't for Tala, who, like I said, so Tala turns out to be an Empire officer that is actually working against them from the inside, which is really cool. I really like this actress. So when I saw that she was in here and I saw she was an Imperial Guard, I was like, oh, she's gonna kill it. But the fact that she actually flipped on the show, really cool. We get introduced to some more droids. I love droids. Star Wars droids are the best. And yeah, we're trying to get out of this planet, out of the Empire, but it's going to be really tough. And like I said, Reva continues just to be so menacing, and like she's still working. Well, even though Vader is the one chasing down Obi-Wan on this planet now because they're there, she's still working to make sure that he doesn't get out alive, even if he can escape. So unfortunately, she does capture little Leia at the end of the episode. But you should really not leave a child alone. I mean, she's 10 years old. And as smart as she is, it's going to be a tough one. So, yeah. Overall, to summarize everything, I had a really good time with the episode, even though there's a few issues with and I think the issues were mainly on the first part of the first half of the episode for me. Once we got to this point where we're like, okay, we're in hiding, all this stuff, which really cool Easter egg. The little safe house that they have on this planet, there's Jedi that have been through there. It's kind of like a little, they call it the path, where the Jedi can safely travel through these systems. And Obi-Wan mentions Quinlan. Now, the only Quinlan I know is Quinlan Voss, who, from what I remember, was a Jedi that was corrupted to the dark side eventually. But I don't know if we're at that point yet, or if that's something that could happen later. But Quinlan, to me, it's an Easter egg for another Jedi. And if we see Quinlan Voss in this show, and then maybe later on in live action, I think that'd be super cool. You guys let me know. Let me know if I'm right about Quinlan Voss. I think the timeline I only know him because of this trading card game, Star Wars Destiny, I used to play, where he was a villain. But I know that in the description of the card it said that he was a former Jedi that turned to the dark side. So yeah, but that's it. That's all I got. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I missed. So go check out other creators for that. And anybody that watched this, thank you for watching. As always, stay tuned because we have more TV reviews. We have more movie reviews, comic reviews. We are doing a live show, hopefully, probably upcoming this Sunday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure to hit that bell, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button too. Hit all the buttons on your way out and leave us a little comment with what you think is, how do you like the series so far? And then what do you think is going to happen going forward? So, as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. Bye-bye.
The Force will be with you, always.